we have probably the people who come from certain non-governmental organizations also. We have co-opted in NGOs, we have co-opted in many social activists who would do the job at the grassroots level. Somehow, again, I repeat, the instance is to mend the thinking, try to prevail upon the mindset of the people under the slogan Nayi Soch. And with this Nayi Soch, we would like to beat away certain myths about the act of suiciding, and we would also try to craft out certain recommendations for the district administration, which are to be implemented in the coming few weeks, because let us not tomorrow regret that it is too late now. As it has happened that a 17-year-old child, she was thrown to the wall, no listeners were there, there were no social help which could reach her in time, and we lost not only one case, there are 2 or 3 instances of this. We will have experts who will probably tell us also that what we have to talk and what we have not to talk about. Because something is very important, that when it comes from the horse's mouth, we are all responsible officers and responsible citizens. So it should be the proper talking also, because things always start from talking. So in that matter, we thought that before we mix up with the audience and the children, yes, who are right now engaged in another location, we should talk about the things among ourselves. It will be a very brief session of 10 to 15 minutes, exactly, and let Dr. Arshit take the charge of the session of telling us certain things, and then we can have a quick interaction on this. Later on, we go to the location. Dr. Arshit, please.
Thank you, friends. It's indeed a pleasure to be here. I insisted on this session because what's wrong with our society is not that we want to do a harm, but we are inadvertently trying to help and doing harm. We had this concept of shroud. It's trans-religion, trans-culture. If somebody will die, and we will have a shroud. In any grief meeting, all of us go into the meetings where we are grieved, somebody dies. We talk in whispers. We could talk normally as well, but we talk in whispers. And this is again trans-cultural. You go to South Africa, you go to US, you go to UK, you go anywhere in the world, there's this concept of shroud and this concept of talking in whispers. And this is what we need to understand. Look at the concept of shroud, just look at it. The shroud is not physical. The coffin is not physical. This shroud is a psychological shroud. So you cover it. So that's how the death maintains that sensitivity. That's why we all fear death. That's why we all want to live. Because that myth and mystery about the death which we as humans have, and we desensitize about it, when we normalize it, it will become normal. It will become a routine. It will normalize. And do not think that we are burning anybody else's house. It will come barking at us. We're telling same about the graduation, I'm telling same about this. You never know. As common code does not differentiate between us and Tajamul, Christian does not differentiate between us. How will it do? Anybody can have it. Our current prevalence rates are 7-point prevalence rates are 7. So any 7% of people can, it's like common code. And 7% of them might have ideas. Look at it, what can happen. And what is it taking? It's taking young lives, young productive lives. So that's about how we can stop the present. So, in fact, when Joseph told me, I told him, please do not name it any seminar on suicide or anything, because what will happen? We will be glamorizing it further. If my response to that suicide is doing a seminar, that means I am actually. So we need to talk about mental health. But let's not talk about that in a way. So let's first read, let's all read the literature and then actually start talking about it. That's how we talk about it. There's so many, for media, there's so many success stories to be told about. There are people who had such ideations are doing wonderfully well in life. So that's what the WHO is asking them to do. Even if they have to talk, first, the police officer said, first, How do they know in 1 minute that this is suicide? There needs to be a legal procedure to first understand that whether this is or not, if I'm not wrong. And if there's any autopsy needed for any suicide, that's a psychological autopsy. So the psychiatrists, the clinical psychiatrists go back and try to find out what were the reasons. And we know those reasons. By that we take regular measures. Subtly. We do that very, very subtly, sensitively and subtly, as has to be done in such cases. That is about that. How, if we want to prevent this epidemic which is going on Burma, because you know what? Why is it happening in Burma? Look at this. Why is it happening in Burma? Is that in every news there are three things: suicide, Burma, and the river. Suicide, Burma, and the river is in every news. Look at the WHO guide. They clearly say that these three will cause the epidemic. These will cause the copycat. So you take these three away. So there might, except for celebrity suicide, there might be a suicide reported in North America, nobody cares. So because you are reporting these three things together, you are showing it in videos, so you are actually, we are all becoming part of, I'm not saying you, me, all of us. That's why we need to be conscious about this, we need to be very conscious about this if we want to prevent this, what you call it, the small epidemics is now happening, because there will be lots of people, any Baramulla patient which had come to me from last 3-4 days, I miss a beat. I call parents, I start doing things, I start talking to them that, please be careful. Because anybody could have an ideation, but it's very difficult actually for a human being to do that. Now, our basic instinct is survival. Our basic instinct is survival. And we're defeating, by doing this, we're defeating that very instinct in human beings. So let's all actually read about WHO and please make sure that they are enforcing, and I'm pretty sure that that's going to be helpful. And I'm thinking that let's take it as a case study for three months. Let's do it strictly for the 3 months, and let's see what happens. But then we also do not have to be blind to why are they happening. There are various explanations. There are sociologists here. There might be people from religion, culture. Everybody has his own say. And without actually any bias towards anybody, they all have the right to have their say. So we have a mental health say about that. We think in current situations that is a better way to deal with it through mental health paradigms. Easier way. I am not somebody averse to the way our spiritual religion is dealing with it. I'm fine with that as well. I do not have a problem. Till it's not harmful, it doesn't harm a person, it's fine. They could actually talk about it in a way which again might be helpful, because there have been studies, trans religions, which have actually talked about the effect of cultures, religion, yes, that's fine. But then at this moment of time, the way things are happening, we all know, we like it or not, there are two things happening consistently in our culture. One, that the culture per se is breaking. We like it or not, we are now part of the global world. Because my son, your brother, you, yourself, we are all digitalized. Influences are same as come from the West. They are the same influences. So you are on TikTok, you search for help for society. That might be very difficult to come, but promoting that, how to do it is easy. So to counter that whole, we have to actually have a mental health paradigm. We will have to have a mental health paradigm. And usme, what is important is that people who have mental health issues, who have such ideations, plans, any distress, do get help. I think one of the most wonderful things departments of psychiatry is department. I would have loved Tajimur to be in my department. He is one of the best students that my institution. He's a brother, wonderful person. He can really do a great job in this place, creating a good psychiatry department. We need help from all of you. A good mental health center at the center. And please make sure that the district mental health program gets linked to this center. That what's part of it is that will go within the community, spread the message about the mental health. People who are in distress will come and come to a place. And that place needs to be staffed. So we need to have staff, we need to have all the in place so that we are once we spread this message that people who have sadness, depression, whatever, they need to have seek mental help. But then you need to have that setup ready. So I am not somebody who thinks of they should all then whatever Srabanki they go to Srinagar to private psychiatrists to meet. So we should have in our because it's best and better to have health and education in the social sector. And you can't have a more better person than Dr. Zibul, who has every capacity to make a very good mental health department here and actually to take it forward. I've shared with Zohar of another thing, lots of your kids will need a momentary support. So what happens in any person who has such thoughts, such ideas, such plans, this research to do that if there's no support, if there's a support at that point of time, it's besides that point when they do it, and beyond that point they want to do it. It's that point where they lose that ability or capacity to continue surviving. If they are provided support at that moment, it's thought I link it to that. If they are provided movement in that sport and then link it to mental health systems, the chances of actually surviving and doing wonderfully well in life is very, very high. There's evidence for that. Not not only movement sport, but then linking them to the mental health service. Both things done together have a very good, robust evidence that they are doing. So we have now, luckily for us, the state has telemedicine services, which are 24/7. Clinical psychologists, counselors, psychiatrists available anywhere, from home and anonymously, never recognized nothing. So what they could do is they can have more, if we spread that in whole district, we can have people calling that center and then them getting linked to the department. Anybody who needs that kind of, some might actually settle there only, others might need help, so we have a department here, and then them actually getting settled. Through that those phone calls might actually save us lots of lives. We've seen that now we have already crossed 1,800 calls. We saw that is absolutely right that we have these two systems. We have this movement support and then we have the capacity to link them to mental health services. This does change lives. This does help people. So we need to actually do that as quickly as possible. I've given to Zohar so we can spread this to all schools, to all colleges if we have. But in that, I'll tell this, please make sure that Dr. Ruby and Dr. Tajam will get support for their mental health unit, so that if the people start coming, that there should be a backup support, so that then otherwise it will all go into there should be like all this there should, so that can be done. For example, I'm sure that Dr. Tajam might have written you might have written project in Nashamuk. So Anantak has already got probably 1 crore in Nashamuk. So he could actually get some manpower and funding in that so that he has that ready, so that we are able to tackle this. Mental health is an epidemic all over the world. This is not only here. But only thing we do not have still systems which are robust. We are much better than what we had. In fact, we are lucky. Division, Kashmir division is the only division in India which has psychiatrists almost in all districts. Almost in all districts. That is our luck we have. But we need to actually support that mental health system. We need to come out of this that, kahan hai mental health problems. Suicides and addiction are at the top of the pyramid. That means these are consequences of what's happening in the community. मैंने आपको बोला कि अगर 100 है, 100 में से 7 का ideation होगी, so you are actually seeing these 3, but look at what's in the community. Ready to have these ideations, plans, that's in the community. So we need to actually look at that, retrospect, and try to actually give help there, but very sensitively, so that people are able to talk about these conditions openly. They are able to come to the doctor and they know why to come. Then there are, for example, we will एक 2 minute दूंगा and I'll stop it. Then there are angles we do link it with many times with socio-economic issues. But all of you, when you link with that, when you look at that, you should look at hard evidence. If you look at hard evidence, then you will realize that it is not only poor and deprived which decide. Which do decide. You every day see the celebrity societies, which again is a big problem because the way the media carried the celebrity, so that is another driving force for the youth to actually do it. So that was so badly done. In fact, there are lots of articles. There's a very good article recently movement by psychiatrist on that. Lots of other articles that how that drove a society with media during that time. You'll see that stats do not actually favor that. Poverty itself might be a risk factor of depression, but then it's not only them who actually. For every poor, you think that because he was socioeconomically deprived, that's why it happened. You look back and see that there are many who have everything, but they still actually have these constraints. So we probably need to look at all of this for mental health, but rehabilitative measures in terms of, we do want that once upliftment happens in the community, with the private health, for example, there is this is the last, and I will finish it. मुझे लगता है सोशल वेलफेयर ऑफिसर है. So we had this family in support जहाँ पे 5 people with schizophrenia with their mother, 75, were living there in the last 2-3 years. Nobody had even gone there and see what's happening. They were in such bad condition that we had to evacuate. It took us 7 days of Dettol and washes to actually first demide them. They had insects crawling all around them. So we need to look at those things. And I'm not saying that we not know. So neighborhoods need to be very sensitive. The cultures need to be very sensitive. Look at those issues as well, and then probably we will be able to what we usually call as defeat this. Thank you so much.